I love wiffle ball. No other way to explain it. Just something about the game, the feel of the grass, smacking that ball all over the field, making plays, diving head first, whatever it takes to get the job done. That's what wiffle ball means to me. Striking out grown men, watching their knees buckle on a called third strike. Sit out, bud. And then, of course, the home runs, the base hits, the big home runs at the big moments. That's a whiff of greatness. Join us all season long for the Joe Aguirre Story, a CMG podcast.
Welcome to Ivy League Murders. On this podcast, we focus on cases affiliated with the Ivy League, exploring the darker side of higher education. What happens when genius becomes evil? My name is Sarah Alcorn. I'm a Harvard graduate, and I've been a private investigator since 1999. Join me and longtime crime diva Laura McDonald for Ivy League Murders.
Oh boy.
It is Friday night. You know where we're at. We're at home during this wonderful pandemic still. But it's Friday, the start of the weekend. You know, Carlos, you're still muted. You know, and we're ready to kick this show off today, guys.
Technical difficulties. What's up, everybody? Hey, it's good to see you. Oh, look, there she is, man. Ready? She's like front of the class. I love it.
Laura, of course she's going to be on. I mean, she's going to be... Laura will be with us next week. She couldn't make it this week, I guess. You know,
yeah, that's
cool. What it is.
That's cool. That's
you
cool.
know, but
I think the comment section is going to be a little hot today.
I hope so. You know, this week on the show we have Rob Benjamin from I'll Piss You Off Shortly.
Yeah, Trouble's in the building.
I had to get a restraining order for this show just to make sure that his box was nowhere near mine, but it's all good.
Yeah, definitely. And then we also have one of my biggest fans. He's been my fan since I've been yay high. You know, my brother Carlos Cuesta is on the show.
I don't know about all that, but okay, fine. No problem. Let it ride.
This is going to be a challenge for Frank. I mean, as you know, if you've been watching the show, you know, I've had to play therapist for Frank these last couple of weeks. And a lot of it has been apparently stemming from conflicts with family and friends. And so now he's actually thrown himself into the fire. In psychology, one of the best ways to treat issues is shock treatment. And sure enough, facing your demons like Frank is today, I got to give him props. I gotta give him props.
Carlos. Thank you. Hey, nice to you. You know. Well, look, let's jump into this show, man. Let's start off with I woke up the other day and I had an article that popped up on my phone.
Oh boy.
You know, yeah, oh boy. You know,
Facebook
me and my phone.
Facebook knows.
Actually, it was a news outlet. And they came up with
listening.
Definitely. But I don't know what they're listing at this one because there was 3 men and a baby.
Whoa, what have you been doing, Frank?
I don't know, man. But I was a little bit, you know, I saw the article and I started reading the article, and it's you have these 3 men. You know, actually, it started off as 2 men. You know, they were together for 10 years, and then they started bringing up a partner into this. You know, into their relationship, you know, which is fine, whatever, you know, then they ended up getting, you know, finding a woman, to go ahead and have their baby, you know, she's a surrogate.
Okay.
So meaning all three men had a play in the pot, you know, so,
okay.
So
yeah,
wait,
yeah.
So we don't even know who the dad is, or they just
I'm sure they do,
No,
or maybe they don't care.
yeah.
Right. I mean, they do know, and like Rob said, they don't care. Which, hey, that's great, But now my take on this is, hey, look, I don't care if it's man and woman, woman, or man. I think that it's already hard enough to bring in a child with two parents and different views on raising children. Bring in a third parent, and if something were to happen, then what? The kids would be split 3 ways. It's hard enough to already split them 2 ways.
Oh, yeah, that's some good points.
I mean, that's their prerogative. They got to worry. They got to figure that out. I mean, I hope that's something that they have discussed prior. You know what I'm saying? Or even, you know what I'm saying? It seems like the couple that's been there for 10 years, they have a good idea, and I'm sure they discussed this before they did this. So like, I'm sure, hey, that's their prerogative. Let them live. You know what I'm saying? Just like Laura just said, let them live.
But yeah, it does bring an interesting point though. Like, so if all three of us are raising a baby, and then the three of us have different ideas on a certain aspect of the upbringing, then how do you
Go to court, right?
It becomes not even splitting up. Like, let's say for example, addressing people, just for example, like you teach your kid how to address people respectfully, and then for example, Rob, you'd say, no, you need to do it this way, and I'd be like, no, I disagree, it should be this way. Third person's like, no, I think it should be this way, and before you know it, have three heads colliding. And you gotta wonder, how many times can that happen? I'm sure it happens a lot.
Robert's rule of law, that shit. Robert's rule of law, that shit. Hey, put that shit to a vote and let it rock, right? Like, it's three. That's the best way. So right now you have a split. You have somebody to chop the decision, like chop the vote, and you're good.
What if Solomon doesn't appear?
I'm okay with them. Maybe one of them ends up being a damn arbitrator is what it is. And
who's gonna? I mean, if all three of them, for example, have a stern stance on a particular viewpoint, I don't think any one of them is going to agree to be arbitrator. It's just a possibility. I doubt it's a frequent issue, but it's an interesting dynamic to the situation.
The best part about it is their issue.
Yeah, no, it's theirs.
Right.
It's theirs. But I mean, if you try to absorb yourself in the situation, you're like, man, what if I was in that boat? Like, all right, three of us arguing. It's hard enough when you're in a relationship and it's you and your partner arguing over how something should happen. You get a third person in there. I mean, the potential for good ideas goes up, but so does the potential for like more argument and conflict, I assume. I mean, that's a hell of an article, Frank.
Okay, well,
they are polygamists.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, in Utah, they do it all the time.
No, they don't.
So,
yes, they do.
Yeah,
in the 70s, apparently only in the 70s.
Not anymore. I mean, they may go back to it, Lord. With where things are going, they may go back.
Well, I mean, my thing here is, besides that, I mean, these guys actually went to court in California. California has a law now that they're able to do that, which is, that's good, to each its own. Hey, but now, how about the child? The child's mentality state. The child, the child's. I know exactly where Rob's going. The child has to be mentally strong. That's already hard. That's already hard in today's society. With the way,
but that's up for the parents to make sure they're prepared for that, to be able to give that child that. You know what I mean? You got to be, as parents, you got to prepare your child for that, because guess what? Let's be real, right? One or two things gonna happen. Your child's gonna be in society. Your child's gonna be made fun of, or your child's gonna get bullied. Let's be real about it, right? Speaking it real. You better be able to, provide your child with the stability to be able to progress mentally in the right way, right? So support your child. Make sure your child has that right support system, which I'm sure they do. They are a polygamous gay couple, or however or not couple, or polygamous couple, right?
Just the polygamy. I'm sure
challenging
enough.
They've had to go, they've had to go over so many more obstacles. So I'm sure they have that down packed. And it's just like straight couples do it all the time. They get a second spouse that might be a female, and it's on TV. It's on TV. You watch Lifetime and all these other TLC channel shows. It's like, I got 5 wives and we all got 23 kids. That's their priority. priority and their prerogative. So like, hey,
That's why they're on TV.
I'll shut up. They might get a show. Like, hey, somebody VH1, somebody holler at
They
them.
made a movie about that, I think.
Somebody holler at them.
But the common sense aspect of it is pretty much how Rob painted it, which is, yeah, that's on them. They gotta prepare. They have to prepare the child for what is coming, because I'm pretty sure they understand that what they're doing is not common. But I'm more fascinated by the possible inner workings. Like, like regular parents sometimes like to tease each other about who the favorite parent is and stuff. 3 of them now. So, and then the kid usually does tend to start showing favor. Does that cause issues? How does that issue look when there's an extra parent? It's very fascinating when you really start to break down the possibilities of what normal parents, when I say normal, I mean a regular, like 2-person couple, and you add a third dynamic into that. Like, that's pretty mind blowing. The psychological possibilities, both good and bad. Powerful men.
Now, I would also like to say that this is where society should watch itself, and this is where even like it's up to me, all 4 of us on this screen, to make sure that we educate our children or the people that are around us to not give a damn about, you know what I'm saying? So what if by chance there's somebody that moves into your neighborhood that has 3 moms or 3 dads? You know what I'm saying? This might be a trend. It's up to us to make sure our you know what I mean? We teach our children and those around us that it's not okay to bash them. Like, let them live their lives. So that way they don't have to worry about those kind of things. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think at the end of the whole thing, the child is going to be the one that, and the parents will have to work through whatever issues there is, and the child's going to have to be very mentally strong and, and have a good backbone to it, so, let's see, hopefully go.
I would hope that they definitely, are able to find some common ground for this child, right? And be able to raise him, make him confident. He's gonna have to have some tough.
They're gonna have to, or it's gonna be a very dysfunctional family.
Extremely. Right. I mean, it's bad enough.
And dysfunction between 2 people is bad enough.
I mean, I'm good, man. But
it's a
circle.
I don't think Laura likes this topic. Laura's let them live their lives. None of your business. No, you're right, Laura. It might not be none of our business. You know what?
Well,
we've all said, like, we've all been supportive of this.
It's an article.
Like, here we go, being supportive, and oh my God, never mind. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna shut up.
Yourself, man.
Before I get reported or something.
Restrain yourself.
Cancel button. Reported once. I mean, look. On another note, on the COVID, issues here. We have
15-day curve, part 50.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, look, now the CDC is saying that if you have taken the shot, you could go ahead now and be able to go out in groups.
That's why we do.
You could be around with no mask. So they've lifted a lot of these, or not lifted, but they taken out of, not, what's the word I'm looking for? They're encouraging us now, or telling us, hey, you can now do this and do that. So to me, it's still
mixed. The message is still mixed. I mean, we're hearing you should still wear a mask even though you get your shot. No, you're okay. Just be in small groups. No, we'll be normal here in a month. This rodeo is tiring. It's tiring.
We agree on that. We can definitely agree on that. This is overbearing. Like, this is getting old. This is getting like it's literally. It reminds me of being in the military, where like you're like, all right, cool. Here's the plan for the day, and then literally the day starts at 9:30. By 9:32, it's already changed a whole 100 degrees, 180 degrees, and then guess what? It's gone 45 degrees in 10 minutes from there, and then so it's just like. Y'all take your time, like Eminem said, go home, take a notebook, take your pen, write some shit that's suspenseful, and then come back when you have a solid plan. Like, stop just trying to feed us. Like, at this point, we know it's here. Vaccinations are out. Figure this shit out.
Now, again, I mean, there's no guarantees. A virus is a virus. Like I've said before, it's going to make its way around. That's what they do. Viruses are the one thing humans have no control over. And, you know, if you get a vaccine, I think the whole point is to not, you know, you don't really have to wear the mask anymore, or else we'd be wearing masks when we were getting flu shots. There's no guarantee with the vaccine, though. I think I read a story. I didn't post it, but a mother, and she looked pretty young. I'd say she's like in her 40s. There's a mother who took the second Moderna shot, killed her in 4 days. So, you know, it's like anything with the virus. That's why I understand the need for people to, you know, be cautious and courteous with others, but I never bought into this like insane paranoia about wear it all the time, or else when I go to a store, in my car, I'm not wearing it. In the parking lot, I'm not wearing it. When I'm walking up to the place, I'm not wearing it. As soon as I get in, pop it on. Fine. Get in there, make sure everybody feels nice and safe and happy about it. As soon as my butt walks out the door, it's off. And that's it.
Well, because you're no longer around people.
I'm not. No, but that's the point, though. Like, but some people, you know, they'll wear it while they're driving, and it's like,
That's annoying.
No, that is annoying.
That's annoying.
I've seen some individuals do that. But, you know, Liz Fraga said it right. Nobody knows what's happening with COVID. Too many chiefs that can't agree on anything.
And she's right. She's right.
She's right on that.
I mean, even the president's message yesterday talking about, oh, you'll be able to eat by July 4th. I'm like, well, we kind of did that last year. I mean, the messages are all over the place. And this has been since the beginning. So it's not even about Biden. Since day one, the messages have been mixed. And a lot of it, unfortunately, has been political. And and so now people want to get upset when you have people who don't believe in the masks, people believe in the mask, people don't believe in the vaccine, people do believe in the vaccine. That's all straight from the people upstairs. So when I hear people tell me, oh, you need to trust the experts in the science, I'm like, garbage, because the experts in the science have been all over the chessboard. And I'm tired. I'm tired.
Listen,
So I've
man,
just
we
been
went
going
from-
about it the way I have been. Knock on wood. I'm okay so far. Hopefully I'll get a shot soon. But it's a virus. It's a virus. Any year, like we could have caught the flu any year. I've had the flu, even though we've had flu shots. There's no guarantee on anything. Just do the best you can and just hope. That's it. I mean, I don't know.
I do want to say something. Chase, go back to Liz Fraga comment there. You see, for those
I'm
of you
the
that
smarter twin.
for those of you out there that do not know, obviously you see Liz Cuesta. I'm Frank Cuesta. That's my twin sister.
Family affair. She's the actually. Hey,
Oh, here they.
to be technical, Liz is the first Cuesta I met. She had the pleasure or displeasure, however she feels, to sit literally in front of me in
Whoa.
6th grade.
She's definitely the prettiest of all of us. Anyway, that's
I
for
mean,
sure.
that
That's
poor
no
girl
doubt.
had to put up with me, like my hyperactive ADHD ass in 6th grade, and I was terrible. So God bless her, but she still talks to me, so I guess it wasn't that bad.
I mean,
You're right.
hell.
They're still, but you're right. They're still all over the place. Right now, we're affiliating
It's
with
a
the
family affair today.
the WHO again. I'm not really cool with that, but that's
And
all
they're
right.
not
Whatever.
I wouldn't trust them either. I mean, if you can't, and I do remember this video, and I'm pretty sure you guys might remember it too. If you can't criticize the country where this did come from, you know, like literally, they just like didn't even want to mention it. There's an issue there.
But that's the you're
no.
a country or
Well,
the people. Like you can't
no,
like
no,
that
not
would be
the
like
people, not the people, not the Chinese people. China. It came.
but
from-
China didn't do it though. Like
It came from there, and the whole point is this, Rob. It's not even the fact that it came from China. Let's not miss the point. The point is they were not open about how it happened, and they were pretty secretive, and yet you can't even discuss it comfortably on TV. There was an interview, and I wish I had the clip. I didn't realize the conversation would go there, or else we would have had it.
Mhm.
One of the members of the WHO, they asked him about Wuhan and the lab, and he was just like, "What? I can't hear you." Like pretending he couldn't hear the question, and then he just got cut off, and it was a mess. If you ever have time, just look it up. It was the most suspicious looking thing.
and I
And it's
definitely will. But it's just like, but if we flip it right, and then say America did something, and then like everybody, all these countries just started being like, you went somewhere and they're like American virus or whatever, like you would be like, yo, that has nothing to do with me. Like that as a citizen or as a nationality, I know I would be pissed if I went to like Ireland or something, and they're like, "Oh, America, something broke out in America," and they started calling me different names because of where I'm from, just because of some scientists or some lab. Like, nah, like that's not
attributed
cool.
to ignorance. I mean, a lot of viruses in the past have names that bear the origin. Like I think MERS is the Middle East virus.
The Spanish flu.
What you're dealing with, or what you're addressing, Rob, is just flat out human ignorance.
So okay, so and I probably am, and I am right. So like, we don't have to continue with the ignorance. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, if we can admit that something's ignorant, why push forward with it?
Because I think it's a minority. I mean, it happens, and I know there was a couple of reports, and I know you addressed it in your last show about some Asian Americans who were attacked. But that's still a small minority. I mean,
but it still doesn't make it right.
It doesn't make it right.
I'm not saying it makes it right or wrong, but
so why support it or even give it any kind of energy?
Because it's still, I don't think it's a harmful way to identify something. If you just call it the Wuhan virus, it's because that's where it originated from. But Spanish flu came from Spain, I think. I've heard.
But yeah, it's different. So now when people are actually getting targeted, though, and like hate crimes and all that are being against them, and people are being assaulted, then that takes it to a different level, right? So just for example, right, just like the Nazi symbol, the swastika never originated from the Nazis. It was originally Indian, right, or Hindu, right? But you know what I'm saying, right? But then it switched over to the bigger popularity of it resembles back to that, right? So even though I might be whatever, I'm not pressing that subject or even trying to flaunt it and then try and give it that, like, just because it's a touchy thing. So now, especially now that's just like sitting there saying, oh, well, a small minority, we were a small minority of blacks. It's okay because it's never okay. Either way you put it, you know what I'm saying? It's just not, we can never condone ignorance. And that's the problem that we as Americans have an issue with in society, is we condone ignorance and just let it fly. Like we got to stop condoning ignorance. It's morality.
I mean, I get where you're coming from. The problem is, I think you're addressing a problem that'll never get fixed. So how many ways to Sunday? How many ways to Sunday do you plan on addressing ignorance? It's a human quality. I mean, they'll find a way to be ignorant about something, no matter how you spin it. So
that's the thing. So like,
what I find alarming though is, why is it increasing? If it wasn't an issue when we called it Middle Eastern virus, if it wasn't an issue when it was called Spanish flu, why did it suddenly become an issue now? What changed?
How do we know? Were you living when the Spanish flu?
No, we don't. But I mean,
so exactly. So we can't assume. We just have to live in the now. We have to live in the now.
Getting their butts whooped because of the virus, and I have not to this day heard anything. If somebody can find me something, hey, I'll hear it. But I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, Rob. I get it.
You're giving energy to ignorance. You're literally pumping ignorance. Like you're giving, and it's the same thing as Trump. When Trump, not correlating you to Trump, but not saying that you are Trump, but what I'm saying is, like, when Virginia and all that shit happened, right? He was pumping the ignorance instead of him just saying, look, stop. He was being arrogantly ignorant with them and feeding that energy. So like that's how we slowly start decreasing that. If we literally stop just feeding that ignorance and literally stop being and stepping up and being like, yo, that's stupid, that's ignorant. That's just like if we're all hanging out, right? And say I start bullying somebody and you just let it go just because I'm your friend. You're a horrible friend and I'm a horrible person because you're not checking me. Like that's the problem. Everybody's scared to check somebody. Check somebody when they're being ignorant and being like, "Yo, that's stupid. It's COVID-19 and let it rock."
So then, you know what I'm saying? Is the issue the name, or is the issue the fact that there's not enough of what you just described, which is just checking people? Like, what's the harm in calling it the Wuhan virus? But if at the same time, and I'm just being hypothetical, so let's call it the Wuhan virus, and I hear you act like an idiot, and then I check you. I check your ignorance, but the name is still the name. It's what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is the ignorance is born from the name, and I'm not sure if I can. I don't know if I correlate that. I think the ignorance can come from it, but then be a good person, like you said, and check it. Like
I think I can kind of correlate it, right? So we were talking about it pre-show about the A versus ER, right? So
Yeah.
if we're all hanging out, right, or if you have
Right.
somebody in your group that's using the ER all the time, and you
Right.
check them and you say, "Look, stop using that ER word,"
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
still out there. The word's still going to exist.
Right.
But guess what? Either that person's going to leave your circle, and that's a good thing because they obviously don't respect you enough, right? If you care enough to be a part of that circle, and they're going to change your tone and change your language, and now we're good. It's not canceling anybody. It's just calling them out on their BS. It's calling them out for their ignorance and not being tolerative to that. So yes, I think to answer your question, it's more important to check somebody because ignorance is always going to be there. It's always going to be birth, right?
I can fly with that. See, that's fine. That's fine.
So ignorance is always going to be birth, but it's how we tone it down. And you know what I'm saying? Because if we didn't tone down the ER, it would be a lot more than what it is today.
I'm sure.
Just like if we tone down the ignorance of the Wuhan virus, because we already know that it came from name calling. We know that that's how it initiated because it was coronavirus and COVID-19, but somebody started being arrogant and start name calling. So that's where it stemmed from, being ignorant. And because that stemmed in ignorance, and then he had a cult following that brewed that ignorance. So now as a society, it's for us to bring that ignorance down. And I'll shut up. I know. I'll shut up. I'm sorry. I've been
Hey, Rob.
But again,
Mr. Piss you off shortly for a reason.
No. It's good.
Not
It's
you,
good.
not you.
I think we're on the same wavelength to a certain degree. I don't put that much emphasis on the name. You feel there's more importance to it, but we agree that checking the ignorance at its presence is key, and that's fine. That's fine.
And honestly, me
Mm.
personally, I don't give a damn about the name.
I don't either. That's the thing.
you know what I mean? And that's the thing. A name's a
Neither
name.
do I.
Just like when we were talking about the A and the ER. I have my views on it. As long as you're not disrespecting me or disrespecting somebody of my type, we good. But I'm gonna
Yeah, Laura right now has some
she not
regrets.
ready. Laura not ready. She don't want this smoke. She can't handle it on media. She can't handle the Twitter finger. She can't handle this. She can't.
Hey, Laura,
handle
you're
this.
still welcome to come on. I mean, we could private.
She don't want. Send her the link. Link up.
We can send you the
link
link.
up.
Come on for the last topic.
Link up.
Yeah. Hey, Chase, send Laura
Y'all
the
about to
link.
have a 4-hour packet.
Send her the
I wish, Rob.
Send Laura the link,
I gotta
Chase.
deal with the baby. You know how that works, but
No, don't worry about it, Carlos. I'll go ahead and handle.
I don't think.
here.
Lord,
I
But
don't
I-
think. I
I
don't
want
think
Laura on
calling
the
him
show.
the-
As a matter of
so,
fact,
that was good, man. That was good.
And we're definitely not disagreeing. I you know what I'm saying?
Right. I think you and I just don't see the actual name of it on the same plane, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
and that's fine. Yeah.
Get checked, and that's okay. I mean, if I call it Wuhan virus, it's just historically we've always associated a virus with its origin, and I don't see a problem with that. But it's never acceptable to like just go start attacking Asian Americans because of an origin of a disease. So that's ignorance, and yes, it needs to be checked. No question there.
And I think if the name calling didn't stem from somebody arrogant,
Yeah.
I think I would have been like, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it stemmed from some arrogance and some name calling because that's how he is. And that's where that's the only issue where I have with it.
Semantics, and that's when it can get deeper. But we got like 5 other topics.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Mute, Rob, mute.
I don't
Jason, put me on
mind.
mute.
I don't mind calling it the Wuhan virus. I don't care if it's the China virus. I mean, to me, that arrogance was like, okay, at least you know where he stands, and he's not some lying ass politician that's just he's got Trump and then
We lost him.
Oh, did we lose
as
him?
far as
We're
this
losing.
is definitely not hoax of a virus. I didn't agree with that at all.
We lost
You're
you
back.
on that last one.
Yeah, we lost you there, man. Your internet
It's not
connection
a-
died. You're there,
And
Carlos?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I
I'm
got
here.
you. We got
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. There's some things that I didn't agree with as far as what he said, but at least with Trump, you know where he stands on things. And
I mean, that was his blessing and his curse. It just depends on who you talk to.
and as far as the CDC and what we're supposed to do,
that's a joke.
They have
That's a
no
joke.
idea. Last week
That's
they
a
were
joke.
telling us we had to use 2 masks. I am not doing that. I
That's a
refuse.
joke.
No.
Yeah, that's
Hell
a joke.
No. I'm not going to wear 2 masks. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Because 2 masks are going to lead to 3 and 4, and then no,
One
that's
mask
not-
is
Walking
enough.
around, everyone's gonna start going out in hazmat suits. We're all gonna start sweating our colors. Yo, neon green. Nah.
Hey,
All right.
Laura, check your messages.
What's
So,
next
you
on
know,
We're
board?
not ready.
All right, yeah, moving on. Carlos,
Hey,
this is
Sketchy.
the
If it
topic.
came from Jersey, I'd call it the Jersey virus. It wouldn't be an issue, man. It is what it is.
Well, hey, Carlos, how about you talk us into this, the next one, your supervision.
Yeah, all right. So I mean, I'm always looking for thought-provoking conversation, and I run into this story on this is a pretty good website, by the way, Reason. I mean, they're pretty much down the middle, and they like to give it to you straight. I recommend it for anybody. So a doctor in Nevada had two of his boys, ages 8 and 10, and they were playing down the street on a dead-end road. So it's like a cul-de-sac. Two kids are just playing out there by themselves, and whatchamacallit, a neighbor calls 911 to report the kids that that they were unsupervised. So basically, like, I think the fire department showed up, took the kids, literally just walked them to the house, which was on the same road, and they had to write up the incident because by law they got called out, which means that child protector was probably going to come out and question the man. And I started to scratch my head. I'm like, where are we now in a society where two kids can't play outside, especially in a cul-de-sac? Like, at the end, that's a big dead end road with like a big round thing. They're just out there, and yet they're getting called. And what kind of ramifications is this having on us as parents? What kind of ramifications is this having on kids? I started thinking, I'm like, in my opinion, I think a lot of this canceling and afraid, this fear of just other language and other opinions stems from a lot of this right here, where there's so much overprotection of children that they're growing up like this, and they're just becoming so sensitive over everything. And the next big question, or even bigger question, is how much government do we want in our parenting? Like, my kids are playing at the end of the road. Who the hell cares? I mean, I appreciate your concern. Maybe knock on my door, check the neighbors, but straight up people calling the cops. And it's that same thing. And I know you've heard the phenomenon where, like, let's say I see Rob at the end of the street arguing with his kid. Maybe he smacks his bottom, whatever. Takes him inside. That's child abuse. Let me call. And then Rob's got knocking on the door. Yeah, we heard you were beating your kid. I mean, this is the kind of crap that's happening. How much government do we need to aid us with our parenting? Like, where are we going with this? Then that's why I thought this article was like, okay, we've reached stupid, but maybe I'm wrong. You guys help me out here.
Waste of money, waste of time. I mean, the cops shouldn't even deal with this, honestly. And you're right. They're probably going to send out, I mean, who knows, HRS or whatever that was, Department of, Family Services.
Yeah, like CPS, it's based child protective, CPS.
And I want as little to do as far as government having them figures in anything really. Parenting, even less. I mean, because that becomes now like an indoctrination issue. Government starts doing too much, and we're going to be in big trouble. And that's unfortunately where I see kind of where we're headed for some things anyway.
Yeah.
Look,
I mean,
look, my brother could attest to this. All right. And I'm sure it happened with you guys also when you guys were kids. We used to play outside all the time.
damn right.
We were told,
Right.
we were threatened to go outside. You get outside.
Hell yeah.
We were, I mean, and my brother stayed indoors a lot more than what I did. But I used to love being outside. When I wasn't grounded. But majority of the time I was outside.
Yeah. I mean, we used to. I lived in Sweetwater. I rode bike all over that place, and they had a park there in the middle where all of us would get together. So we're talking middle schoolers, gangbangers. Everybody would get there, play racquetball, hoops. I mean, where are we going now? Two kids are playing in a cul-de-sac, and cops are getting called. I get the need to protect children. I mean, there's no question we want to protect kids, but come on, man. Come on, Rob, are you going to say something?
I wanted to play devil's advocate just for entertainment purposes only.
Okay.
Maybe we don't know what those kids may have been doing. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what they may have been doing. And maybe instead, because I'm from the era of the community raised kids. So, you know what I'm saying? In the era of like, if my neighbor saw me do some ish, I got it from my neighbor. and then my neighbor called my mom, and I got it from my mom, and then you know what I'm saying, and so forth, so forth. So, but I know nowadays parents, you know what I mean, people are so scared to say something to children nowadays, which I don't get. Well, I kind of do, but anyways, so just kind of devil's advocate on that, right? But then also, it's the second on that, like, what happened to the days of just like kids being kids? Like you said, Carlos, I used to take my bike across towns. Me and my sisters, we used to be outside. Like my mom, we would wake up, do our chores, and on a Saturday, Sunday, she better not see us in the house.
Right.
Like you know where you need to go, you know when to be home. Outside of that, whatever. And maybe that's a rare thing, like kids playing, like I don't know, it's super weird.
That outside that much. Oh, and just to fill you in, Rob, it says it right here. The kids asked their mom if they could play down the street on their dead end road. Mom said yes, and off they went to collect rocks and poke around in the stream bed. That's it.
Being kids. Okay, so at that point, yeah. So throw away devil's advocate, being kids, and even so what, they were skipping rocks or throwing rocks. So what? They're in the safest possible spot in the cul-de-sac in their neighborhood. That lady, and honestly, she should get a ticket for wasting government funds. And for those cops and for CPS, now CPS should have to go see her and her family.
But see, now they have laws where they got to follow up. And that. So, I mean, the main question here is, I mean, are we, not we, I mean, it seems like most of us on this show aren't, but as a society, are we now depending on government way too much to raise kids and make sure other parents are correctly raising their kids? Like, we're all becoming like parental Nazis. Like,
I would agree. Like, people are like, even for myself, like my kid's 5 years old and I have to correct him sometimes. And it's just like, I feel like I'm in this tight spot. Not saying that I'm wilding on my son, but yeah, if I got to raise my voice at him to get him to line up and say, get over here, I don't want to have to worry about Susie 2 aisles down calling CPS and snatching me up just because my son's being a little shit and not focusing because he's about to run into the glassware in aisle 12 with all the olives and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, people need to slow down. And I agree, like the government should definitely slow down. And I think that, and maybe this goes to, maybe the cops shouldn't have been the ones called. Maybe CPS or somebody from that should have been of that caliber to assess that situation. And maybe that goes back to, I know y'all gonna hate me saying it, reforming the police system. You know what I'm saying? or having a officer. You know how they have like school officers.
Yeah,
have a resource officer. Have a resource officer for that, because you don't need a 2 officers to go check 2 kids. You need 1 officer to sit there and say, "Hey, let me see what the kids are doing. Hey, you guys are from here. All right, what are y'all skipping rocks, being kids? All right, cool. Y'all don't throw them near the houses. Ma'am, I just want to say I talked to your kids. They're perfectly fine. Somebody called. We're going to address them right there." Boom.
Here's the thing, like just to add flavor, the neighbor didn't even call like Child Protective. She straight up dialed 911.
And that's crazy.
Firefighters are showing up out there.
And maybe, I'm sure there's some kind of reason why they had to go through those steps. So maybe they need to reevaluate those steps, because now there's a loophole or something that causes that kind of situation, this kind of minuscule situation, to go to a far extent just because of a bylaw or some stuff like that. So yeah, I would agree. Like maybe government needs to spend more time looking at these kind of situations than who's wearing a mask or like wearing triple mask. Because I do believe that, like, yeah, if you go into the establishment, wear your mask once you come up. I take my mask off too.
Yeah,
I hate wearing masks, but then I was in the military where I had to wear masks for like a chem mask for like 2 weeks straight. So
I've seen the drill. It's pretty brutal.
No, like, real life scenario. Luckily, like it was a drill, like it was a warning, but like we had to wear that. Yeah. Like, it sucks. But these little paper masks, it's inconvenient, yes, but and stop governing our kids. Because if you come to me about my kids, you better have a valid excuse.
I'm all for. I'm a disciplinarian. I have no issue admitting that. I mean, I've told my kids, because they think I'm hard. I'm like, listen, if you grew up in my shoes, please. You know, I tan their butts once in a blue moon, and I don't have to do it anymore because they understand. They got the message early. That's why I don't even do it anymore. It's like, yeah, you understand. Good, we're clear. And so This is this nonsense though about like just constantly reporting on parents. It's like we are becoming a society of snitches and we're finding joy in it. And I don't mean that it's not to say that if you're doing something legitimately wrong, your butt needs to get reported. But even at the scent of it, like, people just want to be like, I got it, man. It's annoying. It's annoying and it's being encouraged. And I think laws and little government messages about, make sure. We're turning into a paranoid society to a certain degree, and it's driving me up the wall.
They should make a sign that says, make sure you're not wasting our funds. Seriously. And then have like a bunch of things that are like uncalled for. Like,
yeah, they do, but they don't do that. See, they want to waste the funds because they know, how it goes. If you don't spend the funds, they get more.
You won't get them.
Look who's here. Look who made it on the show.
I didn't want you to think I got it
Oh boy. All right.
We got it going today.
I know, because I couldn't type fast enough before to talk about what I wanted to, so I thought it would be better. I couldn't get it on my laptop though, so I'm on my phone, so I don't know how well this is going to work.
Well,
No,
no,
let me ask you
it's going good.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. Your show is when is your show?
Thursdays.
Thursdays. I have to admit, I haven't had a chance to hear it. I need to try to find it. For some reason, it doesn't pop up. Like when Rob's show comes on, I get a note. I see it. So I don't know why I don't see yours. And I need to make sure I see it, because one thing I'm pretty sure of is like the Ivy League produces, like you said, geniuses. And to me, I love your ad because this is what happens when genius turns into evil. And I'm like, they become politicians. So
Yes, they do. And doctors and lawyers.
But Harvard and Yale and all them, they have definitely produced their fair share of crazies. And a lot of them have impacted the country in many different and negative ways. So that's a meaty topic you have there. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
But Laura, I'm glad you jumped on when you jumped on, because
We're about to
we're
hit
gonna
it
go
up.
ahead. We're oh God. Oh no.
No, here.
All right. We're actually gonna hit a wonderful topic that out of it. Hold on, real quick. Out of everybody that we have that's on our Speaking Real page and on our Speaking It Real group, I could tell you that Laura sits there and maybe she's just on our page all day.
She used to be a moderator. I mean, she blows
Let me
up.
tell you,
Great.
she posts.
I read
every-
about 5 newspapers a day.
It's
all right.
awesome.
Well, there it
That's
is.
why
It's awesome.
I read
I love
newspapers
it.
all day.
I'll wake up and there's like 40 notifications. I'm like, I check Speaking It Real. I'm like,
Yes, I read on both sides. I don't just read on the right.
you know what
I read
though?
on the
That's
left, too.
great though. I mean, that's the whole point of this show. It's a playground of ideas, and what I love is at least 99% of everything I read is just people spitting out their opinions, which is something, again, I said it from day one when I first met Rob on his show. It's an art we've lost. It's an art that this country's lost, and it's something that we need to bring back. Just talk. I don't care if we disagree. Talk.
Definitely.
All right. Real quick,
Definitely.
before we get to
We can
Laura,
be civil here.
just FYI, guys, next week we're gonna have Jared Jones from the Throwing Jabs podcast on. Let's really quick. We're gonna pause real fast and listen to their promo, and then we're gonna come right back on.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our main event.
So, as that promo said, this is the main event. All
I
right.
don't even have makeup on. I'm just like,
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
That's the whole point of being real. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. Well, we're gonna jump right into this cancel culture stuff.
okay, let's go.
boy.
All right.
Cancel.
Laura, yes, cancel culture. Laura has been posting a bunch of things on it. I think the biggest one that she posted that got the most comments on here was
Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew. In defense of Pepe Le Pew, there were a couple of episodes where the cat actually fell in love with him and started harassing him too. So I'm defending Pepe here. That's some one-sided BS right there.
I agree.
I just have to. Can I start out by saying one thing?
Yeah.
You know, I question a culture where their priority is Pepe Le Pew when we have a governor who's now been accused by 7 women and he won't resign.
And you know what's even worse?
Then you think that a cartoon from 1940s is the problem.
What's even worse about that story?
I mean, that's the problem. Is you actually do think that's the problem, and that's how warped and how divided we are in our thinking. Because it's definitely not the problem. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to help anyone. It's actually going to make Disney a shitload of money. You know, it's like, it's all really not, I think, what you would think it is.
I think there's a few things going on. So how do I say it? First things first, I hear both sides of the argument. It's no
You're next, Rob. Don't worry.
It's no big deal. Why are you stressing it? And then the other side of it is, if it's no big deal, why are you even bothering with it? So, and we're colliding here. Now, the thing is, I think both sides are correct. It's no big deal. However, once again, I love to blame the media for 90% of our problems because I believe they love to just stir the pot and cause shit. And so they're the ones throwing it in our face that this is happening. And of course, everyone's going to react. I am not of the ilk who believes these things should be canceled. I believe everything should be left alone. Historical references should be there, and people should be educated by what's out there, whether it's good or bad. I mean, look, I read Huckleberry Finn in high school. And if any of you have read it, it's pretty clear of the language that's in there. And yet, I didn't walk out of English class a racist. I understood, though, when that book was written, what words were being used. I understood the history of it, and I understood clearly that we don't talk that way anymore. But you don't learn stuff if you start getting rid of it. And so,
and then who decides? Are we going to have a panel on what's appropriate, and who decides what's offensive to me may not be offensive to you?
That's another thing.
As we've seen, in our post today, what I find offensive, Rob doesn't find offensive,
and vice versa.
And vice versa. And
Rob, you're sitting there chilling. I see you. I'm absorbing this conversation.
I'm very vocal, so just like when I go to like Thanksgiving, like big dinners, I let everybody grab their food first. You know what I'm saying? So then that way I can eat. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel so bad when I eat. So yeah, I'm just letting everybody go. I'm chilling.
Cool.
I'm chilling.
I'm watching you watch the food. So
no, I'd like to hear what Rob. I would actually like to hear Rob, so I can respond.
Yeah, it's so bad. So like,
because I'm sure I'm going to want to respond to Rob. So
all right, hold on. Let's do this. Let's get what Carlos has to say, and then we'll jump on.
Yeah.
I said it.
Let the other Carlos go.
Oh
no,
I'm. Rob, you're on our show now, buddy.
No, that's why I'm chilling. I'm chilling. You know me when I'm a humble guest. When I'm in my house, I act a fool in my house.
Rob,
when I'm in other people's house,
you're being the coolest one here. You actually
oh look, yeah. So yeah, my bad, Carlos. Go ahead.
You're good. Nah, man. Governor Cuomo apologized, so this bullshit leftist media is not going to even cover it. They're just going to forgive him, and I don't even know if he's going to have to resign at some point. He probably won't. He'll be governor and probably get reelected by the bullshit elective system that we have on top of everything. But as far as cancel culture, man, I'll take it on a case-by-case basis. Pepe Le Pew, I mean, that's bullshit. You're right. We don't have to they shouldn't waste their time on that. Tom Brady wants to wear a MAGA hat. That's fine. I mean, he can get criticized, but the guy's a hell of a quarterback. What he feels politically, I don't really care. Mm-hmm. Even if I am a Trump fan or not or whatever. Like I said, I'm kind of down the middle there. I mean, I do like a lot of things that Trump did. I didn't necessarily like his mouth, but I'm not going to judge him just on that, But it was his downfall, in my opinion, anyway.
All right, Rob. Grab
it. The floor is all yours.
Actually, I'm going to wait for seconds. Go ahead, Rob.
So like, my biggest thing with this is like, my first question, and it's kind of just like a group, kind of the question, but it's like, was it really canceled? Who's really calling for the cancel? From my understanding, it was Disney or whoever, the producers, whoever wrote the thing. It was a scene, and they decided that it was something that they were going to take out, right? And then, kind of to Carlos's point, the media got a hold of the story and blasted it. So my thing is like, it's not cancel culture if the owners of the property made a decision, you know what I'm saying, in movie
But
and
you're
in
not
production.
denying cancel culture, are you? Can we start with the premise of accepting that we have cancel culture?
Can I
Yes.
lift off, please?
Yeah, sure.
Can I lift off? Relax. Yeah, hit your pen.
We're in the
Relax.
grave. I'm waiting.
Hit your pen. Relax. Like,
Yeah, I'll hit my pen when I feel like it. Thank you.
yeah. So like,
I don't really need you
what
to
I was
tell
saying.
me.
So like, who cares? To Carlos's point, like, who cares? This should have not even been a story because it's not cancel culture. Now, when people are what I take from it is that they have took a side on the decision of, Disney or whatever the case may be, and they said, you know what, Pepe Le Pew was kind of rapey, so like, cool. It's not like they took all of the scenes of Pepe Le Pew off. No, you can still watch Pepe Le Pew if you want to. It's whatever. I think people are so intrigued into old nostalgia that they're just like, oh my God, like nobody's even sitting there like saying, oh, you're a bad person for liking Pepe Le Pew. It's just like, it's not cancel culture. So you got to call it for what it is. It's literally the media hyping up something because they're trying to capitalize, like Jared just said, on something. So guess what? Now everybody's about to go watch Space Jam 2. So it's like, you didn't cancel nothing. That's not a cancel. Now, to the point of Governor Cuomo, when is his term up? I know about it. And yes, he's a nasty old man. He's a nasty old man, and guess what? They're going through all the necessary laws, right? Everybody's making they have to go through the thing. Everybody's saying that he's a nasty man. What? Everybody, especially people on the right, all the past 6 years been screaming, you got to go by the laws. If you want them out, you got to. They're whatever. So I'm sure it's some kind of political game that they're playing. I'm sure he's not going for re-election. I'm sure even if he was going, he would not get elected. Like, yeah, get him out. If there's a way to get him out, get him out. But guess what? That's New York's problem. He's a nasty old man. I acknowledge that.
Lock him up.
Lock him up. If he's touchy doing all that, but from what I understand, he was just being a nasty, nasty old man, which all these nasty old white politicians, black politicians are. All of these dudes are I'm not going to say all. I don't want to generalize them, but a lot of these motherfuckers is old and touchy.
So the issue here, Rob, I think there's a few things. Now, since you're not necessarily conservative, I don't think you generally understand some of what we see. And I've heard you express your views on conservatives, and I chuckle. But
yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So in reference to Pepe Le Pew, I think the problem is this. For years now, we've been seeing cancel culture roll into a giant snowball. And what do I mean by that? I don't think it's fair in any way, shape, or form. And this isn't political. This is just me. Rob, if you said something stupid 5 years ago and you've somehow addressed it or whatever, people change. People make mistakes. And yet now, though, a mistake you made 5-10 years ago gets you literally not literally, but gets you crucified. That's the basis of cancel culture. So now.
Oh, Colin Kaepernick. that's yeah. Like Colin Kaepernick. Cancel, right?
What do you mean? No one said cancel him.
No, he got canceled.
But
by who?
No.
By everybody.
By who?
By the
He
NFL.
got captured by the NFL.
Hold on. As far as I know, Colin Kaepernick still has a voice. Colin Kaepernick can still talk. What he's not doing is playing football. I'm the type of person who believes he's not playing football just because he flat out sucks.
People didn't cancel him in the public opinion. The public didn't cancel him. They didn't call for his cancellation because he took a knee.
Okay, can I say something?
I didn't know. They disagreed with it, though. I mean, you can disagree with it.
He didn't get hated on because he took a knee? Carlos, you're lying.
Yeah, some people.
You're lying.
He definitely got hated. I think he got hated, but
He did a lot more than take a knee. Okay, he did a lot more than take a knee.
Yeah.
What did he do, Laura? What did he do, Laura?
He wore
And everything
he encouraged people to perform violent acts against police.
Lies.
He wore.
That's not true, Laura. I'm sorry.
Lies.
Don't wear a pair of socks with pigs on and tell me
he wore
a Fidel Castro shirt against the Miami
Why?
Dolphins.
Who are pigs, Laura? Who are pigs, Laura? Who are pigs, Laura?
I'm talking. Who's saying that?
I am. I said it.
He wore a pair
Look at
of
your
socks
screen. Open your eyes.
He wore a pair of socks with pigs on them, with police uniforms, to a practice where he'd be photographed insinuating that police are pigs, and encourages anti-cop rhetoric.
Okay, so no, please let me go, Carlos. Please let me get this off.
No, I just wanted to at least address.
Okay, go ahead.
You just finished addressing what I was going to say.
I'm telling you that there are people who do not like him for other reasons. I don't need to hear your opinion on it. I'm saying there are other reasons people don't like him.
When I think of canceling Rob, it's like, for example, you have your show, right? And I say, but Rob 7 years ago said XYZ. He needs to be booted off his show and completely, disappear. And to the way I see Colin Kaepernick is there's a population of people who disagreed with everything he did and they're angry at him for it, but he still has a healthy population of people who want him back playing football, even though honestly, if we remove everything about the protest, the guy doesn't deserve to play football. He stunk. He did get to 2 Super Bowls, but his talent went down the drain. So I mean, people can give him a shot, but I think stats wise he was lousy. But I don't think if you want to say he tried to get canceled, sure, but I think he's also being very heavily defensive.
Tried to get canceled? I don't think anybody tries to get canceled.
No. I'm saying like people trying to cancel him. But I think he's got a very healthy population of people who he's won awards and stuff, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
But cancel culture is like Tom Brady.
I think the premise more though is Kaepernick did something and it caused a reaction. What I'm talking about more is you did something a long time ago, and then I'm getting on your case about it now.
You're just you're literally moving the goalpost because you use the governor as an example. That's now. Cancel culture is past, present, future, whatever. And I hear your point as far as like if somebody does it, but we can't just move goalposts because the same way Pepe Le Pew has a strong gathering and support system that follow him, which are people that don't want him canceled, even though he's not being canceled because he still has a voice. I'm saying that Kaepernick said that pigs are cops. If you go back in the interviews, that kill innocent black people that do not do the public any justice. Those are pigs. So yes, he definitely wore some socks. So what? Y'all don't say nothing when people walk around with Nazi flags and Confederate flags. Y'all sit there and say freedom of speech.
You don't know what
I am talking. What did Kamala say? What did Kamala say? I'm talking. I'm talking. Excuse me, I'm talking. I'm talking. Excuse me, I'm talking. So, anyways, so like really, like you can't sit there and say this is cancel culture because he has a voice. Like nobody's canceling this dude. And like back to the point of Kaepernick. He got canceled. People were pushing him to cancel because he was speaking out for injustice. And I'm sorry, if you never served, if you never crossed that line, if you never did some kind of public service of putting your safety out there, you definitely don't have a voice. And then guess what? When he actually addressed to somebody in the service and they said the best thing to do is kneel, guess what? Shut your mouth. That's the easiest thing to do.
Can I say something to you?
Of course.
Okay. All right,
guys. For the last couple of years, he's done.
I have every right to disagree with what he did and how he did it, but I do not want him canceled, and you don't seem to understand that. Okay?
Did I say you? I said a group.
Okay, and to imply that all these people, because if I saw a Nazi flag or a Confederate flag anywhere, I would flip out. If anyone used any terminology around me that was derogatory, I would flip out. half of my family is another race. You know,
What
you
race?
know, it's not, you know, so that implication is untrue. But there is
It's
cancel
untrue because
culture.
of you,
No,
because you make
no,
up the whole population.
no,
So you're the whole conservative group.
now I'm talking. I apologize for when apologize to you.
We need mute, Frank. We need a mute button machine,
But no, the point is that no, you can't put that on everybody else. And cancel culture is happening now because if Tom Brady puts on a MAGA hat, you know, people are going to want to cancel him instead of saying he has a right to his opinion. And you know, Rob, I probably disagree with most of your opinions, and I disagree with Colin Kaepernick wearing pig socks. It offends me personally, but I will defend his right to wear them because I think we have freedom of
That's kind of the
speech,
way I see it too.
and we have freedom of speech, and we have freedom, you know, but we also have freedom to get pissed off about it.
That's the way I saw it. I mean,
So
I didn't agree with what he was doing, but I told him, look, if he wants to kneel, he can kneel. That doesn't mean I gotta like.
Right. I don't have to agree.
I don't recall, at least me personally, and many of the people I know, I don't recall literally yelling at people saying, nah, he needs to be completely removed from the NFL and from public life. That to me is more of what I consider canceling.
So you two might not have done that, but what my statement was, there was a cancel culture towards Colin Kaepernick to get him out of the NFL. It was, yes, he was not the best quarterback. Right. But guess what?
There was just a singer from a band who tweeted out that he liked a book about Antifa, and now he's been canceled.
If you want to do a personal one-on-one debate, we can do that on our Piss You Off shortly.
People
so like,
is what I mean, go ahead.
I think we should.
Go on, Rob. Go on.
I'm good.
Look, I don't have a problem with what he did at all because you know what? The beauty of this country is that he can do stuff like that. But I don't agree with the fact that look, he came to Miami and wore a damn Castro t-shirt. That's country, okay? And we're Cuban, but guess what? that country still performs lobotomies today. All right, and they're still firing squads, and they're still doing the same shit they were doing in the '60s. And I don't agree with it, but
I think the issue with cancel, and this is just again my perspective, the issue with cancel culture is it's at least from my perception. Again, that's why we're talking. It seems to be designed, or it's growing into a phenomenon where it's designed to permanently damage people, and. I'm personally the type where, you know, I'm more tolerant than probably many of you here. I mean, Confederate flags don't bother me at all. I mean, I'm not going to sport one, but if I see you wearing one, I'm not just going to be like, I'm not going to lose my shit. I'm not that type. I have options and I choose to treat everybody differently. I mean, I'm in Florida, so we see them here periodically, and I've had very great, good conversations with people who adorn them. That doesn't mean I agree with them or wearing it or whatever, but I just judge people on a case-by-case basis. And the last thing I think we need to be doing is going out of our way to find something, a mistake you made, putting it on blast, trying to harm you for it to the point where it does, all sorts of damage, financial, professional. That to me is the danger of the culture. And so be it Colin Kaepernick or whoever, to disagree is one thing. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing. But when the intent of the disagreement is to find ways to damage you in the long term, that's when I start to have an issue. Because, that's garbage to me. I'm not sure how anyone else feels, but I think that's what I'm perceiving. And so a lot of these times, and again, like Rob said, and what I said earlier, a lot of it is the media throwing gasoline on stuff. So even the Mumford guy that you were talking about, I personally don't think he should have apologized for crap, but he did. And when that happens, it's gasoline for everybody, because that's what brings in the news, and that's what people like to see is people falling down. And that to me is what cancel culture breeds, and I think that needs to stop. But again, we get a rise out of watching people suffer. That's the
and
sad
I think
truth.
I think it's it's one of the reasons why people, those of us with more conservative voices on the in the middle or on the middle right, keep our voices down, because we get incredibly bullied when we question the ideology.
Oh no! Look, hold on.
Rob,
I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Laura, because I would tell you this. And
I don't mean here. I feel
no, no, no,
I,
no,
I don't.
no,
I
no.
am very
I know that.
comfortable here.
I know that.
I mean in other feeds in other places.
By
Right.
me, you say I bully you all the time,
I
Laura.
know.
Be honest.
You can't be.
You know what? You need to get
I'm
over
just
yourself.
blunt.
I
I'm
never
blunt.
ever
I'm
said you
super
bullied
blunt and
me.
honest.
I can
Like,
handle you fine. You never bullied me.
nah, you can't handle me.
Yeah,
You
I
can't
can handle
me.
you fine.
I'm like Iverson around you. Like, you can't
No.
handle me.
You had to like stop and do research to keep
Oh,
talking debating
what
with
research?
Well, I think I think we
me. I mean, the
Your degrees don't hold nothing to my degrees, Laura.
the
You're right.
thing
You're
is
right,
that,
Chase.
Rob, if you hung out with me, you probably have a lot more in common. With
We
me
probably
than you
would. We
have-
would probably have so much fun, Laura. But I
Right.
don't think you would be able to handle my shit talking because I talk a lot of shit because I'm super blunt.
Listen, Laura.
I
I'll tell
actually,
you
the
this,
thing
I'll
is,
tell you this,
Rob, I
Laura.
could handle your shit talking
I'll give
because
you- I'll give
I
you-
believe everybody should. I'm a
One-
libertarian.
One
believe
thing I
everyone
learned about
should be
dealing with
them.
Rob on his show is if there's one thing you can do to even the playing field, no matter what he says, smile. You
Smile.
can't
Smile.
stand the smile.
Smile.
I don't believe
Smile.
in telling other people how to talk.
Just smile, man. Smile.
I
Let
haven't
him-
told you how to talk, Laura. I've just corrected you on things that I felt were incorrect. And then the biggest beef stemmed from when you started lying on me and putting
Rob,
out false
let
narratives.
me ask you, Rob. I don't know if you
I'm not
heard.
gonna relitigate that, but that's
I don't
not
know
what
if you heard
happened.
what I was going at, Rob. But I mean, I always like to hear your thoughts because I know you and I stand on different sides of a lot of things. Again, the issue isn't. I think it's the motivation behind cancel culture, which is to do more permanent damage than anything. I mean, what's your take on that?
I think cancel culture is dumb. I think like all of it's dumb. Like let things play out. You know what I'm saying? Like overall, like if it's necessary, well, it's dumb when it's not necessary. It definitely like had some effective moments. I think like, yeah, R. Kelly, sorry, buddy, you're nasty. Cancel his ass. You know what I'm saying? Now, am I gonna say I hold true to that cancel culture? No, because there's some R. Kelly songs. If you look in my recently played, probably in the past 6 months, that have definitely played. So, but like I don't intentionally go out to support him, you know, but it's just like I don't, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna go out to a concert or something like that. But like there's people that need to be canceled. There's certain things that don't need to be canceled. I personally don't feel like this is a canceling thing because the studio said we're not doing this, and then the media got a hold of the story and made it a bigger ordeal than it needs to be. Nobody's out here trying to cancel Pepe Le Pew. They spoke out and said Pepe Le Pew's nasty. Yeah, he was a creepy little dude. If they were to cancel him, I wouldn't care because honestly, Looney Tunes was dumb as hell to me growing up. So go ahead, off with his head if you want to.
I can't believe you said that. Get him off.
The cancel culture is going strong. You know, they don't want anyone from the Trump administration to speak at Harvard. They want to rescind, you know, degrees.
That's a whole other level of canceling right there.
So, you know,
That is
it's going strong, and it's by far hits the right much deeper than it hits the left.
But Laura,
Yeah,
who's the
but-
bigger idiot? The person that's getting canceled, Harvard, or the people that still will get canceled and still sending Harvard money? The same Republicans and Trump supporters that send money and gifts and everything. They're dumber. They're more dumb. I'm sorry.
That's a pivot. That's not a question. I mean, that doesn't address the question.
I'm just
you know, but it doesn't address the question.
I think, though, however, I think people just honestly need to stop apologizing. I think that's when things
everybody
get out of control.
apologizes. Right? Like that guy
I mean, you told me,
apologized.
"Oh, back in 2012, you said," and I said, you know what? Yeah, it was wrong, but I'm here now. It's 2021, and you can go kiss my ass.
Look,
All right,
look,
maybe I
When you
read
start
that book.
doing that more, people just stop losing interest. It's like the annoying big brother. I'm not saying that because Carlos is here, but I'm sure that when you
that
guys
is
were
a
kids,
big brother.
you know, if Carlos wanted to get on Frank's nerve, I'm sure he did something. And what would keep Carlos going? Frank probably getting pissed. So it's like anything else. So let's say if I go after Rob and try to cancel him and bring up some bull crap from 2010, if Rob turns around and says, you know what, I did, and I don't give a damn, I'm pretty sure I'm done with Rob because I didn't get what I wanted from him. But if Rob turns around and starts, yeah, he's right, it was a terrible thing, I'm sorry, I apologize to my fans, I'm going to be off of, I'll piss you off shortly for a month so I can think about what I got him. I got him, and I'll pounce on it. And so I think America, honestly, if you're listening, if someone's trying to say anything or do something about a mistake you made, admit the mistake, tell them to F off. I'm pretty sure this phenomenon goes away.
Kevin Hart did a perfect example of it. Like, you know what I mean? There used to be like a 72-hour rule, right? Especially like in the entertainment business. Like, whenever some stuff happened, like let it go over. Don't say anything for 72 hours, and then watch how the next thing comes over and it's whatever. Like, I think it's so in the now. Like everything's in the now. It's so instant. Like people feel the need to respond. Like I promise you, nobody's talking about Pepe Le Pew come April.
No.
Probably not. But Pepe Le Pew, like Mr. Potato Head, it's a moment thing right now. That's the whole point.
Okay,
it's hot. It's hot.
Yeah,
it's
but
why
you know
it's
what?
out.
Look,
It's indicative of a bigger problem.
I'm going to tell you like this. This
I
is
agree. I think
this is where
Jared, I'm not
me-
sure which Carlos you're talking about, but I'm going to
Dark
plead the
are
fifth.
you?
it's confusing as hell, but it's all right.
But look. This is the way, just given the fact of what's been posted on our page. We had Disney, we had Pepe Le Pew, right? All right, they're cartoons. Okay, whatever they did back then, all right, wasn't okay in today's society.
That's why it's important
All right.
not to get rid of it, is what I'm saying.
Hold on.
Go on.
I'm not saying to get rid of it, but this is where, like with Disney, what did Disney do with? I think it was with Peter Pan, Jungle Book, and Dumbo. All right, what was it they did? They still have it. They didn't get rid of it. All they did there was, okay, we're not gonna have it on there for on the kid's account. It's gonna be on the parent account. So now it's up to the parent. Hey, you want to let the kids watch it? Fine, watch it. Explain to them what it is, what it was, and you just simply tell them, hey, this is not the way we live life nowadays. I mean, it's just one of those things that, as parents to these kids now, you teach them what's right, what's wrong.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a small degree of, I think, people who are generally not offended. Like, I think there is also a sense, could be wrong, anybody feel free to correct me. There's a sense, though, that people feel like they're being, I don't know if corrected is a term I want to use, but like, let's take Pepe, for example. Yeah, I mean, he did what he did, but I didn't grow up thinking that was model behavior. I knew it was a joke. And so when someone says, oh, he needs to be quote unquote canceled because of that, because it's offensive and it's inappropriate. And I'm like, sure, but do I need you to like spoon feed me that? I can tell my kids that I'm fine. Why are you getting involved? That's probably the best thing I can come up with just off the top of my head. But I think there's this notion that society is trying to like massage it into your head that whatever we label or whatever we need to change, it's because it's absolutely wrong. And some people are like, no, not really. Leave shit alone. Leave shit alone.
But it goes back to it's their business. Like if they choose to do it, like it's then if somebody wants to make a new Pepe or a Jefe Le Hugh, like then go ahead and do that on conservative. Like
B movies go, man. They end up on Netflix too.
Yeah, exactly. Like you know what I'm saying. If it bothers, in my opinion, like if it's so great and if it bothers you so much, make your own. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I love oodles and noodles, the cup of noodles sometimes, but I hate the flavor. So guess what? I make my own. Like I add some seasoning. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean? If it bothers you that much, but it's still there. It's not going away. They're not taking them away. They're not, you know what I'm saying? None of that is. And I do have a question. We saw the what was that? The Native American. I'm culturally ignorant. What was the beef with that? Whatever the one that just showed.
We showed a picture of Peter Pan, I think, and
Peter Pan. Yeah, well, I see, Peter. Like, well, I'm culturally ignorant. What was bad? Yeah,
they were just Indians standing in front of Peter Pan. I mean, I don't know what Disney's rationale was there.
I don't.
Were even drawn. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And I mean, if somebody has any context, please put it in the comments. But if we're just looking at it from just the fact that they were Indians in a cartoon, it's like, what's the big deal? Like, I think the big deal was Dr. Seuss books. I remember that one of the arguments was,
racial stereotypes.
Racial stereotypes. But Jared, historically speaking, I mean, that's kind of how things were. I mean, unless I'm wrong, I know one of the Dr. Seuss books, I remember one of the arguments was there was a page where it said a Chinese man eating with sticks or something like that. And there was a drawing of a Chinese guy with sticks and a bowl of rice. Hey, historically speaking, that's pretty much what they did. So
They still do.
but
they're hypersensitive. There's a hypersensitivity issue.
So the thing is now, if we start looking at things from a historical context and we're going to start slapping, we need to cancel it because it's insensitive. I'm like, no, not if it's historically accurate. I don't get it. That goes back to what I said about Huck Finn. Huck Finn is full of racial words, but that's what was going on during Mark Twain's time. And so, why get rid of it? And I believe they did try to get rid of it if they didn't get rid of it. But
better find you a copy and then put it.
That's exactly what was going on in Mark Twain's time. And so we're pretty well aware that that's not how we talk and that's not how things are anymore. But it's a great reference. It's a great way to look at it and say, yeah, that stuff just doesn't fly anymore. And I'm glad I got to see it from somebody who was there. And so I the danger isn't Pepe Le Pew. The danger is, I think, how big does this get? How much do we try to remove? How far can we push it? Everything becomes dangerous when you start teasing the limits of anything. And so I think that's where, at least for me, this phenomenon is a concern, is where is this going to end up?
Do you feel like it's going to end up like the book Fahrenheit 451? That kind of like serious of like cancel culture?
Hey, listen,
It
we can laugh at that. We can laugh at that, but to a certain degree throughout history, it's happened.
Why do you think Orwell predicted it?
It's happened. I mean, these things have happened. Yeah. Humans are capable enough of doing stupid shit like that. And
they want to change language.
So that's why there's nothing wrong with kind of being weary about it. Sure, right now it looks like it's like nowhere near the Fahrenheit thing you just brought up. But you leave anything alone and humanity is dumb enough to continue to do it. So, hey.
So bet, like, and this might sound like really, really probably a-hole of me. But like, do you feel like this will like happen in your lifetime? Like this big change will happen in your lifetime?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think.
I don't know.
I think changes are happening pretty fast.
It's happening. It's happening.
It's happening fast.
Like to that extent. Because the only reason why I asked is just because like
in revolutionary behavior.
See, in my mindset, I don't think it will. Like, I don't think I'll live to see this big revolutionary change to the point where like my freedoms and liberties and like everything is canceled that fast. So like, I'm just like, I don't care in that aspect. Like, cancel whatever you, because it literally, when I'm gone, it will literally never matter. Like that, like there's so many other things in life to worry about than like what people are canceling, especially like when we're in the digital era, nothing is really ever canceled. Like, if you really want to find something, you can find it. If you really want to watch something, you can watch it. If you really, you know what I mean? Like, nothing's ever really canceled. It's just yeah.
I think Rob, to your point though, it's kind of like, all right, will it happen in my lifetime? Maybe, maybe not. But if you see something similar, do you just let it go because it's not going to happen in your life, or do you address it? Especially if historically it's happened before. You see what I'm saying?
Frank Carlos, if you had told me when I moved back to Boston 6 years ago that I would have to be afraid reading the news on the subway, because I'm afraid when I read Fox News on the subway, I get like afraid someone's going to hit my phone like during the election, and like I would have to hide what I read at work.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to live completely like that. That's not freedom. So
hold on.
That's how it is here.
Right.
That's out there. There are things like that. I mean,
I'm telling you,
you're saying that you're on the subway. All right, let's see if I follow you. You're saying that you're on the subway reading Fox News. You have it. Hold on. Right. She's reading Fox. That's what she's saying. So are you on your phone reading it like this? Or do you actually have a newspaper?
No, I'm covering it. I don't want anyone to see it.
Okay, well, I don't know about you. Okay, I don't know, but I can tell you that when I'm here on my phone, The only person that could really see it if I have somebody really behind me. Now, then again, I've never really been on a subway much. I've been maybe twice, and I've always been against the wall like this, and I could be on my phone and no one can see what I'm reading
You can
unless
see
I'm
you
publicly.
can
Wow.
see
I
everything.
mean,
I
Frank,
don't
we,
want
we
someone
live in
breaking my
Florida.
I don't want someone
Subways
breaking
aren't
my
always
phone.
guaranteed to give you a corner.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
I don't want
I've
someone
been in
breaking
New
my
York
phone
a few
because I'm
times.
reading an
I know the
articles
subway
that
can be an
offends them.
absolute nightmare.
But again, I mean, unless they're, I mean, I don't, I mean,
Shit like that happens, and I don't want
all the
that
time.
happening to me.
I mean,
Okay,
I can't disagree or agree with you
I've
there,
been
but
assaulted by Antifa in Boston.
You've been assaulted?
Yes.
What happened? I want to hear this story.
I was walking out of the a mall, a very high, I'll just say, a very high end mall where I actually worked, but I guess they didn't. I was coming. I didn't. I was and I was with two kids, and there was all these like Antifa guys with black masks on, and which I didn't see them at first,
Hey, Boston has a chapter. Just saying.
and I went over to this cop to thank the cop for working on it was New Year's Eve. So I went over to thank the cop. And the minute I started walking back from thanking the cop, they just started I didn't see them. They just started like attacking me and screaming in my face and calling me like a fascist lover and like a pig lover and
Damn.
you know,
Is that assault?
that's assault, not battery. If they don't touch you, if they touch you, it's battery. Assault is yelling at you.
Damn, I guess I've assaulted mad people then, because I yell all the time. But it's crazy because I've seen the right. I mean, I get yelled at all the time. Like that's assault. So like you got yelled at, or like did you press charges?
Oh God, no.
So why not press charges if you got assaulted?
Because because honestly, I don't really feel like they did me any permanent harm. Like they screamed at me and like scared me because I had children with me. Like, I mean, at that time they were masked. People weren't masked. I didn't think they were masked.
So how do you know they were Antifa? They had Antifa shirts?
I don't know. They had stuff on. They're all in black. They had masks on.
So you assume that they were Antifa,
okay,
and they assaulted you. It's just assault is a very strong word. And
well,
like when you say assault, like
well, I'm talking about in the law school terminology.
like, and that's crazy how, and that goes to like what I was referencing when I was commenting earlier that
I mean,
the way you your
your
terminology can really get somebody crazily hemmed up on some like crazy stuff when somebody was just saying some things like using their freedom of speech.
You don't think it's assaultive?
Like that's crazy. Like
I actually think it's beyond freedom of speech when you surround a woman with two young children.
So they surrounded you. So like they enclosed you. They enclosed you,
they
and like
got
you couldn't
on
move.
each side of me.
Yeah, I think we're getting into the minutiae of it, though. I mean, whether it's Antifa or not,
So
we disagree with her.
It happened very
and
fast.
they were doing something, though.
I turned around.
I'm sorry for your trauma, Laura. I really am.
I mean,
I'm really sorry for your trauma.
I'm not traumatized by it.
You sound traumatized by it.
No, I'm not. I'm just telling you that it happened very quickly, and there were men on both sides. Me and I had two small children to protect, and they were screaming in my face. And all I thought about was getting away from them because I had children.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I'm sorry for your trauma. I'm sorry that happened to you. And
I'm just saying that that's not a good way to communicate. I think there's better ways to communicate. I have like been lost my train of thought, but I mean, I just think there's, we have to like allow people to have their opinions and their views and whether or not we can agree with them and just, and if I thank a cop and you don't like cops, there's no reason to scream at me about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, but I mean,
so did they assault you after you spoke to the cop?
Yes, but the cop didn't
And where
see
was the
because
cop?
he was on a horse, so he had ridden away, and it was like a parade. It was New Year's Eve. There were a lot of people there.
Well,
all right.
I couldn't imagine.
Bottom line, regardless of what you believe, no one should feel that way. But that
happens a lot. It happens a lot.
Behavior makes the news and makes headlines. So to a certain degree, I feel it's encouraged, and that's a shame. But
look, I think in all we all have been assaulted, I guess, before, considering Laura's terms. of what assault is, the legal terms.
And we should be kinder to that. And that's one of those opening
I
things.
better
We
check
should
that with my friend who's a lawyer.
Yes.
She
You know,
uses
because,
she uses
I
a
mean,
Seinfeld
look,
episode to explain
If
it.
that's the case, you know what? My brother has assaulted me all my life.
Verbal assault. I mean,
You know,
Oh,
so I mean, go figure. So, but you know,
everybody
look,
stay quiet. Now it's about to get good.
no, but some cops will tell you that verbal assault doesn't exist.
Ah,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you. I mean, and there may be an element of fear involved. I don't know the whole. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know the whole definition.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Sketchy, isn't battery the physical assault?
battery is physical assault. That's why there's assault and
Assault is
battery
a
and
threat,
then
I believe.
battery.
I believe
Yes, assault is the threat and battery
assault
is
is the
carrying
threat.
it out.
Battery is when it's physical.
Physical, right? So it's like you could say I'm going to hurt you, but unless you touch them, I'm going to hurt you is assault, but touching them is battery.
Physically hurting somebody is battery.
So I would say assault because I felt afraid. So that was why.
okay, but did they say they were gonna kick your ass?
Did they what?
They were
Did
just
they say they were gonna kick your ass, or were they just screaming
I
at
mean,
you?
they were screaming so loud and calling me names and stuff like fascist lover and pig lover, and I was so scared, and I had little kids with me that all I did was like grab the kids and like run and try to get away.
So I mean, so
Kudos to you for
technically,
keeping it cool, 'cause if I had my kids with me in that situation, I'd probably be on the news. I'm
no,
serious.
I
know,
would
and I'm
probably be
with
on the
the
news
kids.
also.
It's like a different, like, it's just
But
If I
like
had
a mere threat of my children, it becomes a whole new game. It's
if
a
I
whole
had
new
had
game.
my husband there, who
So
just
kudos
lost,
to you.
he wound up losing his brother 2 months later on the job, but his whole families are cops. He wasn't there, but it was. I just wanted to get away. I wasn't trying to have a moment or be on the news. I just wanted to get away.
No, of course.
Right. All right. Well,
And make the kids safe. But I think that we just all need to take it down a notch and just.
I think. Look, I mean, just to go ahead and just start wrapping things up here. At the end of the day, what Carlos and I are doing out here is what we all just did, right? We're able to go ahead and speak things out. We voice our opinion. No harm, no foul. And this is where society really needs to start doing. I don't have to agree with any of you on any topic. I could go ahead, say, I could always say what I think, what I feel. I could read my facts. You come up with what you say, with what you feel, and and so forth. But again, do I have to go ahead and sit here and start insulting you? Do I have to go ahead here and cancel you out? No, I don't.
Right.
Because your thoughts are your thoughts. Your opinions are your opinions. You come at me with facts and you tell me, hey, this is the way it is because that's the way I see it here in this article. Or, I've read this and I've seen it. Hey, those are facts. But everything else you come up with are opinions and they're not facts. You got to be careful with. Correct?
Right.
yeah, I'm good.
All right. So I do want to thank all of you guys for being on. Rob from I'll Piss You Off Shortly. You could catch him Mondays at 9 o'clock. Every Monday at 9. You guys really want to hear Rob. All right.
I'm dying to go back on the show and smile. I mean, I'm busy with the kids, but I definitely will go back on his show just to hang and hear him just rant.
Yo, definitely. That's what it's about.
I interrupted you a few times tonight, and I apologize, but I will do your show, and I will not interrupt you. I'll be mindful of not interrupting you.
I apologize for interrupting, but
I will do your show, and I will.
That's what Speaking It Real's all about. I love it.
Look, you know what?
Okay,
guys.
I think we're gonna, maybe talk about our favorite song first, and then do the show.
Yeah,
probably so. I can see it happening. I would love it. All
right.
Look,
So
on a side note, real quick, just so everybody understands where we came from with this. My original plan for the show today was to have Laura and Rob. Laura at one point was like, nope, Nope, I'm not going out with Rob. Nope. All right, because you know what?
Rob.
When you go ahead and you see the posts and you see the comments, Rob and Laurel going back and forth.
For like 2 hours.
Okay.
It's great.
Yes.
though. It's
And,
great.
and I am very glad. I'm very glad that today I was able to accomplish Laura and Rob on the show, and Laura will be able to see Rob, not the I'll piss you off shortly Rob. Okay,
Yeah, he's got multiple personalities.
You know,
he's got issues.
I do.
You know,
It's sick. It's sick. Clinically diagnosed. Clinically diagnosed.
You know, I'm not so harsh either. And I think sometimes when we see each other as people,
No, nobody's harsh. Nobody's harsh.
no, but
We're
you know, online it's so easy to type things in, but when we see each other as actual human beings.
You know what? I'll say one quick thing before Frank wraps this up. I believe there's a phenomenon on social media that people aren't aware of. I don't know if this happens to all of you, and I think it does. So when we read other people's posts, even though we're not hearing them, because we assume they are saying or thinking, we put their voices in our head and we probably make them sound angry as hell, even though they're not.
Right, we make them loud.
I think everybody to a certain degree does this. So like, you know, and we're all guilty of it to a certain extent. I'll read something from Rob and he'll post something contradictory to what I or somebody might say. And sometimes you can't help it, but I probably hear Rob screaming like he normally does about conservatives. And I'm like, no, he's probably not, you know, I think we all do that to a certain degree, believe it or not. And it incites the aggressive conversation when it doesn't even need to be there. I know I post stuff and I'm smiling half the time, but somebody who doesn't know me would read it and be like, this man's always complaining. He's pissed off about everything. And I'm sitting here going,
that was me this morning.
So who knows? But I think people like suffer from that on social media.
I agree.
An interesting nugget for people to think about. Frank, go ahead.
That's the disconnect. Hold on. That's the disconnect of how you say things and
how you read things. And that's why we need more of Rob's shirt.
And that's why
Rob has.
That's why
look, when you're behind this right here, okay, nobody really knows.
I can't see.
How my
It's a
phone.
It's a phone.
It's a phone. When you're behind the phone, okay, nobody really knows exactly what you're feeling or how you're saying things. Just because you say something that's, you know, might come out strong, okay, maybe that's not the way I meant it. Excuse me?
It doesn't mean you're angry when you say it.
Exactly.
Right.
So this what we just did here, where we all talk. Perfect, because we all understand each other and we're not screaming at the top of our lungs.
I tell people all the time, unless I'm typing in all caps, I am not yelling. I am probably in my most sarcastic, condescending voice possible, which is kind of like this normal voice, and that's it. Like I'm a very slow, and I've had to learn to be that just like low mellow tone person, and then I can be kind of up there an octave if I'm around, you know what I mean, whatever. You know. But like normally I'm just a low mellow person because like outside of that, if I get amped up in public, everybody's looking like, oh, what's going on, what's up. I'm a big guy, I have a big voice, so that's just normal, right? So but in public I have to stay mellow, because if my big voice just goes around, hey, can I get a number 7? Everybody's like, what the fuck? What's going on? This big black dude and all this other shit. Like it happens. It still happens.
Size.
You know what I'm saying? Like I walk into the convenience store with my boy V, and I say good morning to him. Hey, good morning, V. And people are like, and I'm like, damn, I'm just saying good morning. So it's, you know, more than likely, if I'm not in all caps, this is my tone. I'm the easiest. Yes, I'm an asshole to the T. And all that, like, yes, I am. I know it. I know it, but this is my tone. Whenever I'm typing, this is my tone.
Just to be clear, on his show, he speaks in all caps. I don't care what he just said.
Oh, yeah. On my show is all caps. Because it's my show. I act up. I was raised
all caps on your show,
and that's it's an open forum. Anybody can speak in all caps. It's just it's that energy thing. We can all it's an all caps kind of show.
We'll have fun. I think we'll have a good time.
Yes.
I think now Rob and I know we have more in common than we have different. Then we'll have.
I believe most of us do, but we have a hard time getting it out, and then you know it's all about tolerance level. And because I'm the guy who's notorious for smiling, I listen to everybody. but not everybody's like me. So,
all right. So anyway, so hey, look, catch Rob on Monday night, and I'll piss you off shortly. You can catch Laura on the Ivy League.
Thursdays.
Exactly, on the Ivy League murder shows on Thursdays. Carlos Cuesta, you could catch him always in our comments, and maybe we'll bring him back on another day. All right, but hey,
Let me tell you, that site's a 24-hour talk show, man. Pretty much.
it's great.
yes, it is.
It's great.
It is. You know, you might not agree with what we're speaking, or you might agree with what we're speaking, but you know what? At the end of the day, we're always going to speak it real. See you guys next week on Friday. Thank you,
Good
guys.
night, and thanks everybody.
Thank
for
you.
coming in, man. All right.
The Cross'em Wrestling Entertainment Podcast, presented by Clovercrest Media, is what you AEW fans have been looking for. Noah Cross and Tyler Bard give their take on every week's episode of Dynamite. If you are a massive AEW fan, then it is time to join us every Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Stay Cross'em.